Hey, hey, hey. Marieanne here, the Crochety Clogger. Hello to all of those who are in the house. We got Dinky Crafts Jen. Who else is here? I be here. And Paula's here too. Thank you for joining me today, guys. Um, I wanted to start by just oh, and I hear an echo now. Hey, Candace. Now I hear an incredible echo. Hold on. I see why. I see why. Now I figured it out. Aha. Okay. Do you guys hear an echo any longer? Trisha, hey. And Andrea's in the house. Can you guys hear me? And there's Sin. Hey, Sin. Apollo says hey. And he's throwing you kisses. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Apollo, your creator, is in the house. What happened to you, Junior? Okay. Can you guys hear me? All right. So I'm so glad you guys are here. Hey, Elaine. Oh, now I'm excited. Don't forget the thumbs up. Okay. So, anywho, I wanted to just welcome all of you guys, those of you that are coming in. Hey, Bev, Ditmer Knittery's in the house. I'm so excited. Uh, and thank you so much to all of you who might be watching the replay, as a matter of fact, or we don't want to forget all of those observers that may be on the observation deck, as Jaxie would say, or swinging from the trees like a bunch of monkeys, just observing. But there is not a thing wrong with that. So thank you so much for being here. Today's topic, live stream today, is going to be a little different. We're going to talk a little bit about a topic that, and I'm going to throw in a disclaimer right here. I am not an expert. I'm not, I've done just a little wee research, and you guys all know what you can learn on the internet. May be right, may not be right, but I do have two people with me today who is going to talk a little bit more about this with us to help make more people aware. And for them, it's an experience. So I just wanted to make sure and say that. And I'm going to start off by welcoming this guest here. This is Brandy, who is muted. Brandy, you are muted.
My fault. Sorry. Hi.
Hey, Brandy. And hey, Christy Armbar's here. Linda Quilty's here. Who else is here? Angel J. Oh my gosh. People I haven't seen in so long. And Madonna, I love you. Okay. So, anywho, we're here today to talk. Well, I'm going to talk to Brandy, and I want to just introduce her to you guys in the chat. Okay. Because, well, how did we meet, Brandy? You tell everybody.
So, without telling our age,
I don't care. I don't care.
I would have met you somewhere around the early 90s, probably.
That sounds like yesterday to me.
It feels like yesterday, for sure. But no, you were a fantastic dance instructor, turned mentor, turned lifelong friend, just so many things to me now.
You were how old? How old were you? Oh, come on. Nobody cares.
I actually started at the studio at around 3.
8, 3? But with me, it was like probably 6 or 7 or something.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, we've known each other a really long time. And another thing, we kind of stayed in touch. Even after Brandy quit dancing, we just stayed in touch. I feel like I just put her under my wing when I felt like she needed it in life. And at a young age, really, teenage age, I guess. And then life happens, and my father was diagnosed with stomach cancer. And Brandy, I didn't bring my tissues. Brandy, oh, sorry, baby. No, I know, but I want people to know I want people to understand. Brandy came to my rescue. She flew. She just flew right to me and my daddy, and she stayed by my side the whole time, by our side, the whole time that my father was leaving us. So anyway, that's how I know Brandy. And so it's gone beyond just a teacher-student relationship. It's, but not in a weird way. Not in a weird way. So with that said, I'm wondering if anybody might know who our other guest is. I mean, who knows who it could be? Anybody have any idea? Anybody in the chat? Anybody? There's Melissa. CIA's in the house. Candace, you love this already. I might have to leave and go get my tissues. Anybody? Hey, Anita, what's up? God bless your food heart.
Oh, look at the chat.
Oh, Jaxie guessed it. Jaxie's the wiener chicken dinner. Everybody knows. Who knows, right? Who knows is in the house? Who knows Miguel? Oh, man. Everybody's saying Miggy. Jack says Miggy. That's okay, Candace. I can't spell either. So we are here today to talk. I'm going to get my cursor off of Miguel's picture, or I will put him back in the basement as easily as I did before. We're here to talk about something that is very important to all three of us, particularly Miguel and Brandy. Now, what's so interesting to me is that the three of us have connected through a common denominator. For the two of them, for Miguel and Brandy, it's a common denominator, and that denominator is Arnold Chiari malformation. And let me disorder. Let me see if I can fix my. Oh, there it is. There we go. Ta-da! Arnold Chiari malformation. Now, it's something that you guys may never have heard of. I don't know. Have any of you ever heard of Chiari malformation? Who can explain it best? Miguel, you want to give it a shot?
Well, it's when your skull is really too small for your brain.
Exactly.
And so it causes a lot of pressure in your head, and it can cause problems with the blood flow up to your brain, and that cerebral fluid that goes around your spinal cord and up to your brain. It can cause all those problems. Basically, that's what it is that your skull is too small.
Yes. Now, that is basically what it is. And I remember when I accompanied Brandy when she was first diagnosed, and I didn't really understand her surgeon's description of it, because I felt like it almost sounds like the brain herniates slightly into the spinal cord. And I did see that description as well when I was doing a little bit of research. But yeah, and if you don't know, and I know a lot of us do know what nerve pain is, it's the same. You guys get a lot of the same symptoms, right? That a lot of people with nervous disorders get, because of the fact that the spine is being constricted and all those nerves are being entrapped and constricted. That's only part of the process. Right? But let's back up just a little bit, and I want to kind of thank you, Bev, and I want to say thank you to you for thanking us. it's not very much known. Oh, we have to show something off, folks. Every one of you stand up. Here we go, so they can see. In September, we wear purple for Chiari awareness. And we took it upon ourselves to all three of us wear the same purple shirt today. And with September coming to a close, it was Brandy's brainchild to do this. So thank you, Brandy.
Yeah.
But let's start with
sorry. I have no idea what happened. Sorry.
Well, we'll deal. I am looking. Okay. Now, I did look this up. I hope it's okay for me to say this. I wondered where the Arnold Chiari malformation comes from. So I actually looked it up. And Arnold was the last name of one man, pathologist, and Chiari was the last name of another pathologist who discovered this malformation. But anyway, yeah. Okay. So now Brandy wasn't diagnosed until later in life. Well, and Miguel as well, but Miguel much earlier. So Miguel, could you start and let us know what some of your symptoms were before you were diagnosed? But that actually brings up another topic. Yeah, go ahead.
I had a lot of chronic migraines, real bad migraines, stiff neck, really tired. My balance would be off. But they didn't find the Chiari till after they found the other condition.
Right. So with that said, just so you guys know, Miguel also suffers from, say it, Miguel?
Syringomyelia.
Syringomyelia. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I researched that too. And that's like fluid-filled cysts, or it could be one cyst or more than one cyst that's in the spinal cord. Is that correct?
Right. I have one cyst in my spinal cord that I forget the last MRI how long and how wide it showed, but it's pretty long and wide, and it fills with the fluid, and it causes awful pain and edema.
Because it's pressing on so many nerves, and trust me, I get how that feels.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So after they did the MRI in 1992 of my spinal cord, they found the syrinx, it's a syrinx is the same as the cyst, but they call it a syrinx.
Syrinx, yeah, I read that too, and that's just like the term for one of the fluid-filled cysts, right?
Yeah. And they found the syrinx in 1992, diagnosed me with syringomyelia, and then had just a short time went on. They said, about 75% of the people, this is what the neurologist back home told me that found the syrinx, about 75% of people with syringomyelia also have Chiari. And since you're complaining of chronic migraines and all those other symptoms, we better do an MRI of your brain. And they did, and then they found the Chiari. And there's two types of Chiari.
Yes.
There's Chiari malformation 1 and 2. I have 1.
Yeah, and Brandy has 1 too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Brandy, can you tell us some of your symptoms that you had? And I'm asking this question, guys, because so many times undiagnosed things, once you look back now, guys, maybe you can attest to this, Brandy and Miguel, when you look back, you go, oh, that's why I had such terrible migraines all the time. So anyway, Brandy, I'll shut up now. Go ahead. What were some of your symptoms that you look back on and go,
right? I do want to back up just a second. Candace, you had asked if we have shunts. I do not.
Sorry, yes, what?
Candace asked if we had shunts. I do not.
I don't. And also, I can't see the child. So if I'm not answering anyone, that's why. Yeah. So thanks.
And Miguel, I am so sorry. I haven't been keeping up very well with it.
Y'all I've been monitored. It's cool.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandy.
Of course. So I was in kind of the same boat as Miguel. I was suffering from terrible migraines in 4 days long. I was having balance issues. I was also passing out. Just random walking down the hall, and the next thing I know, I'm waking up on the floor. Went to the doctor. They were asking me all these questions about all these different things that were happening, and even down to taking a gallon of tea up. You just don't realize what kind of pressure that puts on your body. Something that simple.
Well, and it's funny because it's not on the body, but yes. I mean, it's like a chain reaction. The actual grabbing and using the muscles to pick up a gallon of water or tea is going to come up, and then all of that. And I read too that like even coughing, burping, or hiccuping.
Yeah.
Right, because that just puts the pressure right there where that part of the brain is going where it don't belong. Only because the skull is malformed. So what were you going to say, Brandy?
If you want to get a really good idea of kind of when the symptoms will notice symptoms come on, hold your nose and breathe into your head to make it feel like your head is blowing up. Just
blow your nose and hold your breath. Is that what you're saying?
Hold your nose and blow, but just blow in your face.
That's what I would do when I would decompress going down scuba diving. Is that what you're talking about? Doing like that? Mm-hmm. So that's how you always felt.
That's one way to describe it.
Now I got to blow my nose.
Yes, that's one way to describe it. Even something as simple as moving laundry from the washer and dryer or into the dryer, you just never knew what was going to happen.
Or bending over, or
anything like that. Basically, if it dealt with your head and you turned wrong, if the weather struck up a thunderstorm, if I went up in elevation, if I went to the mountains or something, all of that stuff.
Yeah, and probably barometric. Now, Miguel reminded us of some barometric issues too when weather pressures change. And if you guys are hearing a weird yes, Bev, I know, and I don't know how to get rid of it. If anybody has any suggestions, let me know. I know it's me. Now when I hush, I know. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry, Niecy. Let me keep turning it down. Now you can't hear me. That is a very good question. Melissa asks, how is it diagnosed? And that kind of brings up a topic I'd like to bring up. I am sorry for the feedback. I don't know what to do about it. But yeah, Melissa, that brings up a good topic. I have read, and you guys stop me if I'm wrong, I have read that most of the time this is present at birth, but it is not known. It many times is an accident that it's even found out about. So, and because of so many people like Brandy and Miguel are adults before they live with all these symptoms before they even know what in the heck's really going on. I forgot what I was going to say. But that's not always the case, I don't think. I may be wrong about that. But Miguel, can you explain to us too? Well, first of all, the question that Melissa was asking is, it's imaging. That's the only way. CT scans. That's the only way to really know it. Is that correct?
MRI.
MRI.
There you go. MRI. That's what I was looking for.
They will always start with a CT to try to diagnose, but you always will end up with an MRI to get an actual diagnosis of Chiari.
And Candace says she has a short brain stem, so that can cause a lot of issues too, I imagine.
Interesting.
Is that better? No. I wonder if I need new headphones. I don't have any others, Candy.
And
So
to answer your
basically,
question, oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, if there are any questions, go ahead and ask if you don't mind. I can try to, let me try this. Let me go without the headphones for a second and see what you guys think. It didn't work a while ago, but we'll try it. Does that sound any better?
First.
I hear it coming out of my speaker. Need a new computer.
Curiosity.
So, CIA, the MRI of the spine, the brain, everything, I guess, right?
In order to determine Chiari, they're going to do of the brain and down through the cervical is the way they diagnose things.
Cervical spine.
Right. In regards to when, like if it can be found at age 60, generally speaking, you're either going to know about it from birth or you're going to find it in your early to mid 30s.
Yeah, and there's no known cause for it yet either. But because of, I've already said this, because of the more and more imaging now, it's being found out more and more, it's being discovered more now. So it's not quite as rare as it used to be, but it's still pretty rare. I mean, I'm sure none of you guys knew. I didn't know what it was when you were diagnosed, right, Miguel? And yeah, go ahead.
I hadn't heard of the Chiari or the syringomyelia. All I had heard about, because I was a nurse's aide, was spina bifida.
Now I have a.
Is it spina bifida associated more with Chiari too as well?
Yeah.
Because spina bifida is actually a formation of the spine that, no, I don't want to say because I'm probably wrong.
It's my understanding it's the bottom of the spine where the top of your buttocks and your back where that meets, that's the last area. So your sacral area of your spine closes last. And it's my understanding that that's where that spina bifida is in that area at closure.
An angel can't have an MRI due to a stimulator implant. But I remember that stimulator really helping you out a lot. The right, Angel? Is it still working good for you? Okay, so CIA asked if there's any physical or medical treatment for it. Miguel, do you want to answer that?
Is there any physical or what?
Medical treatment for Chiari. And that'll get into our next topic. Yeah.
The brain decompression surgery that I had and Brandy had, it makes room. They cut the bone here in your skull. They make room for your brain in your head to relieve that pressure.
And that was another thing, Brandy. I did not really understand Dr. Kwanzaa's description of what he was doing. He said that he was going to create a type of like sling or something.
With the dura.
What?
Yeah.
With the dura.
D-U-R-A.
Okay.
So and that the dura is the lining of the brain. It covers the entire brain. So in order to access the brain, they have to go through the dura. That's what he was talking about with mine. He split the dura, kind of pushed everything back up, chipped the bone away, the opening of my skull, closed the dura over the brain, held it up, and then opening up.
Is that kind of the same sort of thing for you, Miguel?
Sort of. In my case, they went ahead and they cut around by the tonsils back here, and they ended up taking my tonsils out to make some more room. Some they do and some they don't, but my case was so severe that I said, well, just go ahead and take the tonsils. They talked to me before all that. And in some cases, when they make that sling, like Brandy, doctor called it a sling, sometimes they use a part of a pig because that skin, and in some ways, it's kind of similar to our dura.
Oh,
So
yeah. So yeah, it's sort of cadaver type of
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some people, after they have the brain decompression surgery or during the surgery, they'll opt to have a shunt put in. I didn't, because I did my research, and like I said, I also was a nurse's aide and took care of different ones that had a shunt for, like, after car accident, they'd have a shunt in for a little while, and I felt like the risk of infection was so high compared to not having the shunt. And because sometimes some people have to go back and have that.
What happened?
There you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have it. Okay, sorry. So now, can you explain exactly what the shunt does? If that's, is it? Well, go ahead.
The shunt, well, it's to help get that fluid going, and sometimes it has to be drained out.
And that therein might lie infections.
Yeah, and sometimes the shunts have to be replaced. So I felt like that wasn't something I wanted to go through. So I didn't have a shunt.
Yeah. Now, from what I understand, the yes and no, is it a permanent fix? The surgery? Yes and no. It's a permanent thing, but it doesn't necessarily fix it. It may stop it from getting worse, right?
And it relieves some of the symptoms. It gives you a little. So I had my surgery September 22nd, 2014. So 9 years ago. And I've done pretty well. I mean, there are days that I'll have a flare up. Allergies can trigger it. The weather, so many things. We've already talked about the things that can set it off. So there are days that I'll be down, but I can say that nothing like before the surgery. Before the surgery, I had been down so often. And one time, one of my eyes swelled, and someone had to call 911. They were worried about water on the brain.
Oh man. Well, yeah.
I didn't have that. When I got to the hospital, they checked. I didn't have water on the brain, but it sure could have been the beginning of that.
Yeah.
With all
and when we say water on the brain, we're talking about brain fluid, spinal fluid, right? And it belongs where it belongs. It doesn't belong floating around in cysts in your spine. Right. And that's kind of what this issue is, right? You know, so yeah. Hey, Dory, before I forget to say hey to and Granny D. Did I say hey to D? But yeah, I think that Brandy has better days now than before the surgery, the decompression surgery, just like Miguel said. He has better days now too, but it can still cause some of those same symptoms that they had before, perhaps not to the severe extent. But the pity of this to me is that, and I'm not trying for anybody to feel sorry for anybody, but in a way, for those children that are born with this and don't know,
right.
You know, that's not right.
Right.
You know, and there's no way of knowing if there's something that happens within, you know, as a fetus, is there something that's happening there that can be avoided in the future. So more knowledge is needed, awareness needs to be spread, so that people understand it and understand that a lot of these symptoms they are experiencing, there may be an explanation. One of the things too that I was going to ask Brandy, especially because when I was reading more about, well, not only the syringomyelia, but something to that effect, I read, and I may be wrong, can prior surgeries can something, you know what I'm saying, Brandy?
Can one thing lead to another?
Could something happen like, okay, I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't bring this up because I don't know. You may know more than I do, and maybe I might be opening a can of worms. when you were a teenager, you had to have surgery on your back. How old were you then?
When I had that surgery, I was 22.
You were what, 22?
22.
I thought you were younger. Well, it happened when you were younger. That I
It happened when I was 16, and I lived with it until I was
and lived with it until 22. So that's where I'm bringing that up. When I read that, I wonder, could something like that possibly cause syringomyelia?
I can't speak to that. I'll have to pass that over one to you.
You'll have to do what?
I can say that as a kid and as a teenager, I was really healthy. I have a lot of cousins, and we're almost most of us are almost like 6 months apart. So growing up with my cousins, I would wrestle with them. I played softball with them, just like normal kid stuff. I never had any problems. But when I got into my 20s, well, in high school is when I started to get the migraines. But I just thought it was high school because I didn't like school. But when I got into my 20s, then I went to be a nurse's aide. And this is how I injured my spinal cord. I was transferring a resident in the nursing home with another nurse's aide from his wheelchair to his bed. And the other aide that I was working with was brand new. And she did not use the right body mechanics. And so when we lifted him up and he was mid-air, all of his weight came to me. And I felt it pull my back out right away. But we got him in his bed safely. And I went to walk out of his room and my legs went totally numb. And people of the age had to come and grab both my sides and walk me into the dining room so I could sit. And they called the charge nurse. The charge nurse actually was a friend of my late mother's. My mother was an RN. And this charge nurse and my mother both went to college together to be an RN. So anyway, she put me on light duty for the night. Back then in the nursing home, you did everything by hand, all your charting, and but that's when it happened.
So
that's I pulled my back out and I had lots of symptoms for about a year. I could not find a doctor that would send me for an MRI. They wanted to send me for PT. They said it was a thoracic strain. And I said, I think it's something more than that because my legs keep going numb. And finally, after about a year, I came in contact with a great doctor who listened. The other ones weren't really listening. This one listened to all my symptoms. And he said, have you not had an MRI yet of your spinal cord? And I said, no. And so I went and they did the whole spinal cord, cervical, lumbar, and thoracic. And then in that MRI is when they found the syrinx. And he explained to me that, yes, I could have been born with syringomyelia and never have any symptoms until there's an injury, like a car accident, or if you play football, or like my job, that I had that injury.
Brandy, you know what? I'm sorry. We are putting some puzzle pieces together now. Thank you, Miguel. Brandy had a back injury, and I still feel bad about this because Brandy.
Don't feel bad.
But I do.
No way of knowing.
I know, but you won't stop.
I had a migraine all day today, and I'm not stopping. Yeah. So I actually broke my back. I broke my on
your tailbone,
very bottom of your spine, the very tip. My mother was driving a Sea-Doo and literally crashed into a pontoon. I was on the very back of the Sea-Doo with the handle, so I was jarred, and that's when my back broke. Now,
how old were you then?
16.
16.
And
I thought it was when you fell down the steps at school.
I think that had something to do with it. I think that was. I was told it was the Sea-Doo accident based on X-rays, but
But see, here's the thing, folks. She wouldn't stop making me give her choreography to do in her solo dances and her group dances, and she would not break. And I feel somewhat responsible.
I'm the one that should feel bad. You were in tears when I told you that I had to have back surgery. It's fine.
I know, but this is a question answered though, Miguel. Seriously, I've often wondered about that.
Dr. Jangela would not tell us, wouldn't confirm that had anything to do with it. If you remember, because I think we actually asked him.
Oh, did we?
I think we did. I tried to go back and find the conversation, the initial conversation we recorded with him, and I don't have it. So you may still have it.
No, because I just cleaned my phone out. I remember deleting it.
Oh, well,
I did. That whole terabyte on my phone is about used up.
But yeah, he wouldn't confirm for us if it was in fact directly related.
It's probably hard for them to actually say that. They can, but it does kind of, like Miguel said, perhaps if you guys did have it earlier part of your life, a later injury could actually exacerbate it or just bring it to life, basically bring it to awareness, right?
Yeah.
Ooh. I hate that this is terrible feedback. I'm so sorry. I will know that I cannot do a StreamYard live without a new computer or new speakers or something. All right. So is there any other questions? Cindy says, that is horrible, Miguel, that you had to suffer for so long. And he did. Well, yeah, and most patients do, I think, before finding out. And the good thing about this is that through imaging, and doctors are a little bit more at the ready to send people for MRIs and imaging, which, trust me, I know they're not cheap, but it's a good thing. So, that way it is. And I do want to let you guys know about some organizations that we know of. Miguel can help me here, the ASAP.org, and I'll drop it in while Miguel describes it.
The ASAP is the American Syringomyelia Alliance Project. That's what that stands for.
And I'll probably, hold on, I am spelling American Syringomyelia Alliance
Project. And they do, and I knew that that's a legit organization because, like I had told Marieanne and Brandy, I have actually talked with, maybe it's a volunteer that hosts support groups, but the one closest to me is in Fort Worth, which really isn't close. But they do have various support groups, and they also push for research for syringomyelia and for Chiari. And they have people that suffer from both that go before the Senate, try to get funding for research.
Lots of lobbyists.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I hope they have lots of lobbyists.
Mm-hmm.
They need more.
Right.
And then the other one that we found is the Chiari Fund. I found it actually, chiarifund.org. Let me find that link. Now, I didn't have a chance to read as much as I'd like on this one, but the biographies of the people that started this organization is worth a read. And what they try to do is raise awareness, not only that, but and educate, but also raise funds for people who can apply for assistance, getting to the right healthcare providers, getting tested, just about anything. And you can apply. So I'm going to let you guys know, both of you or anybody that might be watching, go and apply there at the Chiari Fund and see what happens. Can't hurt, can it?
Right.
What's the other one? The National Organization for Rare Disorders. what's the
I don't
the
know a whole
website is not.
I don't know a whole lot about that one. I was just a neurologist had made me aware of that one, that they have these the Chiari and the syringomyelia listed there in their data banks as considered disorders.
Yeah. And there's lots of those listed under their site. So for anybody that would like to go and learn a little bit more about it, those are some places you can go, or if you want to donate too. So, but it's good to know that more people are people are coming out of the woodwork with Chiari, and now knowing that the syringomyelia, I have to look at the word in order to say it. Knowing that Chiari and the syringomyelia are very closely connected, it makes more sense to me.
Yeah. And just a little tidbit to blow everybody's mind. Chiari, yeah. When you look at the list of side effects for Chiari, I'm not exaggerating when I say there's almost 200. And they come and go. You might feel great this minute, and 15 minutes later, you have something going on. It is a huge beast to deal with.
Yeah.
But if I can teach anybody or plant the seed with anybody, it is, please advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
If you feel like something's wrong, chances are there's something wrong. Push for answers.
Right. Push for answers. Thank you. Because a lot of times you might feel something's wrong, but that doctor is like, yeah, okay. I'm actually going through that right now. I have residual nerve pain. It's been a year since my cervical surgery, and I'm not complaining. It's so much better than it was before. Don't get me wrong, but I do still have nerve pain. So, and still yet, what am I going to do about it? There's nothing I can do about it. And the doctor says the same thing. But when you have symptoms like that are associated with this Chiari, don't ignore them. In other words, that was all. How do I say? All those symptoms all wrapped in one can happen, and that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
With that said, go Miguel. You're about to say something. No. Okay. I want everybody to know though that here we have a question. I hate this thing. I'm so sorry. Other than migraines and dizziness, blacking out, are there any other symptoms? Are they all neurological? I would say for the most part they are, right, Miguel?
Yeah. You can have vision problems.
Yeah, vision problems, paralysis. When it's really bad paralysis. But yeah, neurologically, yeah. But the funny thing about this is I never understood how much. It's your brain and the nervous system is like the. I said this in a video. It's like the circuit breaker box in your house. And if there's shorts in there and things like that, or it's painful, and things won't work. And I never realized how important our neurological is,
And specifically, that portion of your brain is the very bottom portion of your brain, and it controls so much more than anybody else.
Really? So the right above your brain.
Your brain's kind of shaped like this, but it has this little piece right here that kind of shuts down, and it comes down into the spinal column.
Yeah.
That's where this is. So that piece, the cerebellum, that is a huge piece of your brain. It controls emotions. It controls fine motor skills. Anything like this. You're asking about symptoms. These are symptoms.
Wow. All those highlighted. Lots of the symptoms. Yeah. Those highlighted are the symptoms that you have.
it can affect your speech. A lot of times I have trouble getting the word out. You know, my brain has the words I want to say, but I stumble to get it out. And that's part of the Chiari.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to make fun of that, but I'm really not. I'm like that anyway. Sometimes words pop right out. I'm like, holy cow, I can't remember. I can't believe it. But then sometimes I can't think of it. But
that's something as simple as a cup.
The word
I
cup.
need a cup, and you cannot think of a cup.
Thank you for saying that, because I understand better now.
Yeah, my husband has gotten really good at reading my mind and filling in words. Like Miguel said, I'll be in the middle of a sentence and it goes away.
How about that? Guess what, guys? Brandy, when she suggested this to maybe spark some awareness for anybody who's wondering, she and actually it was your husband Matt, right? So what happened there? You take it from here.
Well, actually, you kicked this off.
Do what?
You actually kicked this off.
I did.
We're talking about. Wait, come back. What were we just talking about? This is what happens. No lie, y'all. This is what happens. She literally just asked me a question. 2 seconds later, I've already forgotten it.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I'm like that too sometimes. Okay, so Matt asked you something. He asked you something. He said, well, if y'all were going to do this, then why don't...
Yes. So when you brought this initially up a couple of weeks ago on your channel, and I'll be honest, I was in tears the whole time watching it. Anyway, we suggested maybe this Q&A session, and then on top of that, I was like, well, if you're going to do this Q&A session, why don't you start a channel for education? Why don't you start talking about Chiari? Why don't you bring some more things to the forefront of people's minds?
So Brandy's going to start a channel.
Yes. Once I figure it out.
Once you figure it out. Well, you know what? It's all trial and error, just like everything else. That's the way I look at it.
True. And since everybody in here is pretty much crochet, I'm going to brag on Marieanne a little bit. I have not had a chance to wear this. So
wait a minute. Let me make you solo.
Oh. Okay. So I saw this idea, I don't know, 2 years ago maybe? And sent it to Marieanne, and then she's like, oh, I have something for you a few months later, or a while later. I was like, okay.
A whole bunch of months later.
Time is relevant at this point. So this is what I got in the mail, and I love it.
It's not exactly purple. It's really burgundy. But it's as close to purple as I could get.
It is a shawl, and it has pockets. Anybody that knows me knows I love pockets.
Pocket shawl. But it is a purple ribbon, which is the awareness ribbon for Chiari, right? That was the hardest thing I've ever made.
And I treasure it. I really do.
First of all, I know that stuff is really soft. It's that velvet stuff. I don't like working with it. And as far as graphs are concerned, I don't know that I'll ever try another one. Miguel, have you ever done a graph?
I have.
I don't have that brain power. I can't do it.
Oh, nice comparison. Cerebellum looks like a ball of yarn. It does. Yes. If you look at the brain anatomy, it does.
I said that about Eeyore, Dory. When I made Eeyore, I said that was the hardest thing. That was the hardest pattern I've ever read. Oh, me. Oh, thank you, Linda Quilty. You said very nice. Good job. There's a lot of boo-boos in that thing, Brandy. That's how much I love you.
I don't care if it's small or not. I love it. And I always keep it close.
Well, that's how much I love you. Hey, I'm just kidding. It's hard. It took me forever. That's one of those projects where you like put it away and go, oh, but anyway. Oh man, let me see if there are any other questions I had. I did look this up too. The prevalence in our general population of Chiari sufferers is about 1 in 1,000. And that might not be current. It's what you read off the internet. But that's what I read today. And many times it's asymptomatic, and we've already said that, discovered quite coincidentally. But I just hope that more people do learn about it. It's that. It is that. It's a beast.
I meant every word of what you read a few weeks back, I meant every single word of it because it is hard. It's hard to, you're having these issues before you're diagnosed, and then you get your diagnosis, and everything kind of comes together, and it's just overwhelming. You don't know which way to turn, and then you have to question yourself. Is my high blood pressure related to this? Is the tremors in my hand related to this? So
right. Did you go through that, Miguel, where you just questioned yourself left and right? Is this really happening to me? Is this something? Am I just being? I ask myself this a lot. Am I just being a weenie? Is this something I should ordinarily be taking? Miguel, did you go through those mental issues too with all of it?
I don't think so.
Well, that's good. That's good. You knew something wasn't right. You knew. Now, you did a lot of research. Gotcha. Now, Melissa's also asking about flare-ups and triggers. Let me scroll back up to the original question. Yeah, okay, yeah. Miguel mentioned. Actually, I forgot I could do this. Sorry, oopsie. Miguel mentioned flares earlier. How long do they last, and are there triggers?
Hard to say how long they last. Sometimes a day, sometimes a few days. It depends because I do the two different seasons. And then triggers also hard to answer because it could be you wake up the next day and the weather is changing so much, especially a lot of wind, a lot of dust, no rain.
No rain. Is that what you said?
No rain, so whatever is really high. It's on my allergies, and so then that can trigger a migraine. I can feel the difference. I don't know if you can, Brandy, between for me, I don't consider just every migraine that I get a Chiari migraine. I can tell the difference between a migraine from allergies, and then I can feel it turning into a Chiari because I'll get that pain and pressure at my brainstem.
Right.
My migraines will start here, or in my sinuses, like a regular headache, turn to migraine. But then I can feel it starting to turn into a Chiari when it gets.
So when the pressure of whatever's happening, whether it's your sinus or whatever, when that starts, it can eventually lead to pressure back here in the brainstem. And then for you, yeah, Brandy, what about you?
So yeah, it's exactly what he's describing. You can tell my migraines are generally right up in here. They don't go here because that's more blood pressure. Migraines will be here, sinuses will be all in here, sometimes just above my eyes. But if I ever get it right here, that's the Chiari.
Yeah, then you know.
And what he means by it can move to a Chiari is like pressure changes. If you think about it, it amps the pressure up in our heads, which is what starts the process, which puts the pressure back here, leading to the Chiari. So this causes the pressure, and then it moves, and then you end up back here, and you're in the bed.
So it kind of just goes that route. It travels sort of in a way. It's just like if you had to hold your breath a long time or sneeze really hard or something, that can cause that. So when talking about triggers, a sneezing fit can be a trigger.
Yes.
Because that could cause pressure, right, Miguel?
Sneezing fit and a coughing fit for me will only trigger the Chiari, but it'll put the syringomyelia, it'll put my spinal cord in spasms where I can feel like I have a sensation of something just crawling up my spine and then crawling down. And that's the syringomyelia. It'll flare up like that from coughing fit or sneezing fit.
Wow. Yeah. Even any kind of pressure you might do is, say, if you doing some yoga or something, you have to kind of be careful, right? Even just doing a yoga pose or something.
Yoga is probably out of the question.
Yeah. Hey, that brings.
Yeah. What type of restrictions did they put with you and your I'm going to butcher the word, the S word?
Yeah. Well, I could never go back to being a nurse's aide because they won't let you just people. You have to lift. So
Yeah.
I could go back to that, and I was trained for that, you know. But restrictions are, I can't be lifting things. I forget how many pounds, but I'm sure that I lift more than what I'm supposed to, just because I have to.
Yeah,
I know.
I could never tire on my car again. I know how to do it, but I could never do it again. Just some simple things like that. You know. And Brandy, I was going to ask you, did sometimes occipital neuralgia, like stabbing in your eye and different parts of your head?
No, not in my head. My neuralgia is more so in my hands and feet.
Oh.
Which is strange, but again, nothing about this makes sense. So.
So for a while, I was having awful pains in both eyes, like someone was stabbing me with a pick, and in different parts of my head.
Yeah.
I went to a neurologist, and that's what they said that was, and that's also part of the Chiari.
What did they say that it was, Miguel? I'm sorry.
I didn't pronounce it too well.
Occipital neuralgia.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, well, I would think that it may stem from, right, may come from. I mean, it's going to be hard to say for all the things that might happen to your guys' vehicle. It may stem from that, right?
Well, the way the neurologist explained it to me, because I said, is this something new, like a Chiari and the syringomyelia, or is this part of either one or both? And he told me they go by, you know, in most cases, people with Chiari have this same thing, and so it is part of the Chiari.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense. Well, we are coming up on the hour, so I want to thank you so very much, Miguel and Brandy, for coming here and taking the time. And it sounds horrid, and I'm so sorry, everybody in the chat and everybody that might watch the replay. Do what, Brandy?
Thank you for hosting. Thank you for raising awareness for us.
And I love yes. I wanna let's not forget Brandy starting a channel on this entire this I can't see, I can't talk. Somebody help me. Brandy's starting her own channel to bring more awareness. So whenever I think she's got a few more little things she's got to set up to publish the channel. And when she does, I will let all of you know. And for anybody that can help support her on her journey, that would be great. Oh, thank you so much. D said delayed comment. I typed it, but evidently she didn't send it. She didn't hit enter. She says beautiful work and a labor of love for the yeah.
Absolutely.
I know because I hated it so bad. No, it's just hard. It's hard to work with that stuff. And I comfort to Brandy. It is nice and squishy and soft. I can't say that. Madonna, thank you so very much for coming, and thank all of you so very much. I need to put Miguel's channel in for anybody that don't know, but everybody knows Miguel, right? I don't know. I should have got this up before. So we did. Oh, I'm right typing Miguel. Holy cow! But I do write. You know, it's hard to find Miguel sometimes. So when I do, I put who knows crochet, and then it comes up a little easier. There he is. Okay, let me drop Miguel's linky dink in there. And I sure do apologize for the terrible. What do you second, Madonna? What did Madonna say? Oh, thank you. Very interesting. Okay, there's only 14 people left in the house, so let's take it back.
Thank you.
Miguel, thank you so much for coming. And we'll see everybody on the YT streets, and pretty soon we'll have a baby channel. Oh, September.
Yep. September.
These are purple.
Everybody, hugs and kisses. Thank you, Sandy. Bye, everybody.
Bye.